What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here. Today I'm bringing you a guide on how to use Tatsugiri in competitive Pokemon. This thing is really reliant on Dondozo to be good, but here's how to use it with and without it. So if you're excited for the video, then do me a favor and leave a like on the video to help us reach our like goal of 75 likes. Make sure to comment your thoughts on Tatsugiri down in the comments below for your chance to be named the winner of the comment of the day and have your comment appear on the screen right about now. And of course, guys, subscribe to the channel as well. We're aiming for 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we are honestly getting pretty close to it. So let's see if we can get there. Let's jump into it. Starting off with its stat distribution, they are not really impressive, but funnily enough, it's still better than a lot of other Pokemon this generation. It's got 68 base HP with 50 attack, 60 defense, 120 special attack, 95 special defense, and 82 speed. Now, obviously, 475 overall is fine, okay? It's fine. The issue that I have with it is 3 of its stats are pitiful, and 3 of them, well, 2 of them are about average to below average, and 1 of them is absolutely crazy. 120 special attack is really strong, especially with the Pokemon that has its typing. Its typing is Water and Dragon, which is really solid as a defensive and offensive typing. The fact that it's only weak to 2 types in Dragon and Fairy is really good, and it has resistances to, unfortunately, only 3 types. Steel, it resists 2 times, and then Fire and Water, it resists 4 times each with no immunities. Now, is that good or bad? Not gonna say. It really depends on what you're going up against in the metagame and where this thing falls in terms of VGC play and, of course, in Smogon play. And for VGC, just to say, you're really not using this thing for its defensive abilities at all, so really take that with a grain of salt. In terms of its abilities, it has 2 of them, one of which is absolutely fantastic. Actually, both of them are really solid. The first one is going to be Commander. Now, Commander is basically only used in doubles. And if Dondozo is your partner, you basically just jump into Dondozo's mouth, literally, and you become a boosting Pokemon to the Dondozo, giving it a +2 boost in its attack, speed, defense, and special attack, which is insane to think about. And the trade-off is that you can't attack or be attacked, which is really useful. So you're able to give the Dondozo this huge boost, but it's basically 2-on-1. Now, if you faint while you're inside the Dondozo's mouth from like Toxic or Burn or whatever the case might be, then the Dondozo keeps the boosts and you can then switch out into another Pokemon, which is an incredibly common strategy to see right now in VGC. Its second ability is honestly also really good. It's Storm Drain. Now, Storm Drain is always going to be run in singles because it grants an immunity to water even though you 4 times resist it. Having that immunity is nice, and having these chance to boost your special attack even further is really good. Storm Drain, the way it works is it grants that immunity, like I said, it redirects water moves towards you. So if you're playing in doubles or in an FFA, a free-for-all, then you're able to redirect water moves towards you, and then you are immune to them and get a +1 boost in special attack. Super valuable to have. Obviously, I kind of wish it was a healing one, but the fact that it redirects is a really big advantage in the doubles metagame. Now for some really common moves to see on this Pokemon, and honestly, there are a lot of them. The issue is the coverage is just not there. It has access to really solid Dragon moves like Draco Meteor and Dragon Pulse, which obviously hit really hard and are pretty consistent. Then it has access to Surf, which is just good damage overall, Muddy Water, which is good for the doubles metagame because it doesn't hit your partner, Hydro Pump for big damage, Chilling Water, which is a 50 base power special water move that's going to lower your opponent's special attack by 1 stage, so really solid there. Icy Wind, which could have a lot of utility depending on what you're going up against. The fact that its coverage in general is nice. And then it gets Rapid Spin. That's it for the attack moves that I think are even valuable. That's it. And there are 3 types. Well, 4 types if you include Rapid Spin being a normal type attack. Then it has access to a couple of solid support or status moves. It has Taunt for shutting things down, which is really nice considering its speed is not bad at all. It has access to Nasty Plot to boost its already really high special attack stat. It has Memento to set things up for future setup. Then it has access to Helping Hand, which is really good in doubles, and even on the Dondozo sets you're going to see, it's still going to be running Helping Hand because it's going to be running Helping Hand for other Pokemon. You can't just expect this to be a one-shot, a one-trick pony for Dondozo and that's it. It'll be a Helping Hand Pokemon for other Pokemon in the back of your party. It also has Endure, which is incredibly important on the Toxic Orb set that we're seeing in VGC right now. And finally, Baton Pass has some utility depending on what you're going for and if your situation of meta allows it. Now for some teammates for this Pokemon, I have about 6 or 7 of them for you guys today, starting off with, obviously, Dondozo. This is the best partner to have for it in VGC, of course. In singles, not so much, but again, I'll be going over some single strategies a bit later. If you're looking at Pikalytics, it has like a 94% pairing rate, which is insane to think about. 94% of the time you see Tatsugiri, you see Dondozo as well. Crazy to think about. The boosts that this Pokemon gives to Dondozo are absolutely critical for that strategy, and while I believe it is a gimmick, it is still a really good gimmick that works a lot of the time if your opponent doesn't see it coming or has never played against it or just didn't prepare against it or had a bad lead. That's it. Other than that, I think an amazing Pokemon to pair with the Tatsugiri is going to be obviously Flamigo. For one reason, Co-Star, same reason as for the Dondozo. The whole point is you get your Toxic Orbit off with your Endure, so you're able to survive the hit, get the Toxic Orb, so you're getting Toxic, you jump into the Dondozo's mouth, you're going to give it the boost, you faint, and you go into your Flamigo with Co-Star, and boom, +2 all around on 2 Pokemon, which is absolutely cracked. Then we have Drifblim. Why Drifblim? Well, if you guys are aware of the strategy with the Dondozo and the Tatsugiri, then you'll know that the way it works is you lead with a Choice Scarf Drifblim that has like Imprison, Trick Room, Tailwind, and Explosion. And that way, if you're worried about your opponent going for whether it's Speed Control with Tailwind or Trick Room, you can click Imprison to shut that down. Or if you're just saying, you know what, I feel good about setting up right now, you can click Explosion. You get yourself KO'd, and then you set it up so that your Tatsugiri will always faint to the explosion while you're clicking Endure, so you never die, and then the Toxic Orb will pop off while you're in the Dondozo's mouth as you bring it in to replace the fallen Drifblim. So a really good strategy there, and it works decently well. Next up is going to be Pelipper, which is really important because it boosts your water moves in the rain. That's really good for both singles and doubles, but I see this more as being a singles Pokemon because you really want Tatsugiri to kind of go off, quote unquote, in a singles format. So having access to the rain to boost its already really powerful water type attacks is really nice. Then we have Clodsire. Clodsire is good because it's a solid unaware wall that'll help deal with anything that's trying to set up on Tatsugiri. It also allows it so that you can get up hazards pretty consistently. It gets access to spikes, rocks, toxic spikes, and then Tatsugiri appreciates that if it's trying to be offensive. At the same time, if you're running unaware Clodsire, then you have a water weakness. So now running Storm Drain on Tatsugiri, you're able to be immune to water and take those hits coming in, which is very valuable, so the partnership works really well. Then we have Masquerain. Masquerain because of webs. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of videos going around of the Tatsugiri in singles, and webs are pretty prevalent on all the teams because you don't want to have to go for Rabbit Spin to get a speed boost, and you're not running Scarfed, you're running Nasty Plot most of the time. So having access to the webs allows you to be a bit more offensive. You can, well, speed control is really good with Stun Spore and everything on Masquerain, so having access to that with the Tatsugiri is obviously a big advantage. And then finally, Goldango. I love Goldango because as an Air Balloon Pokemon, it kind of shuts down every single form of hazard removal outside of like Tidy Up on Mousehold, but even then, shutting down that is really solid to be able to allow your Tatsugiri to be pressuring everything offensively. That's really, really strong, so I do like that combination a lot. As for some of the best Terra types on Tatsugiri, the number 1 Terra type I would recommend is going to be Water. Water is absolutely fantastic because it'll allow you to give boosted attacks to your Hydro Pumps, your Muddy Waters, your Surfs, whatever the case might be, and that's really valuable. Same deal for Dragon. Getting the boost to Draco or Dragon Pulse is really strong. However, I do think that Water has a bit more of an advantage because the immunities to Water are going to be a part of the abilities and not part of a type like Fairy, and there's so many Fairy types that are running around in the format right now. And then lastly, I think that Fairy itself is also a really good typing to have because offensively it's a great typing and defensively it's an even better type. So having access to all of that in basically one move with Terra Blast is really, really valuable. As for some of the best items to run on Tatsugiri, we're looking at something like the Heavy Duty Boots. Of course, this is really nice because you want to make sure that as a Rapid Spinner, you can get rid of opposing hazards. So obviously having access to a way to do that is a very good, and having boots so you're not taking the chip is very important. Then we have the Life Orb. Just an extra bit of way to boost up your damage, I think is advantageous in the right situation. Obviously, depending on the meta game, depending on the rest of your team, Life Orb is definitely not going to be the right play. But if you can afford to run the Life Orb and be a bit more offensive and you can use it to get a few more 2 KOs or OKOs, then definitely go ahead and run the Life Orb on your Tatsugiri. Then we have the Toxic Orb. This is obviously for the double set, specifically if you're running the Endure. This could be Flame Orb, but Toxic Orb is what I'm going to show on the screen here. Again, the whole point is you endure, as something faints, you go into your Dondozo, and then you're able to jump into the Dondozo's mouth, get toxic, and faint the next turn as you go for Protect. So the Dondozo gets the boost, and then you're able to go to town with 2 Pokemon and not just 1. And then lastly is the Assault Vest. Reason for this is because as a really decent special defensive Pokemon, it's got what, 95 special defense, I think I said? That's pretty solid overall. So having access to a Pokemon that is really specially defensive with a decent HP stat, below average HP stat, let's be honest, and really good special attack, you're able to take quite a few hits on the special side, especially if you're running a couple of good coverage moves like, say, Icy Wind, your Water and Dragon Stab, and then Terra Blast. It could do a lot of work. Or even if you run Rapid Spin over Icy Wind, you have options there too. Now let's take a look at some sets that you can run for Tatsugiri on your next competitive Pokemon team. These are going to be for both singles and doubles, but obviously some double sets are not going to work for singles, so just keep in mind that when you are looking at these sets. Starting off with the first one, it is going to be for doubles. We're running the Toxic Orb set. Yes, we are running max special attack, max speed on this. The Terra type on this does not matter. Nope, doesn't matter. Run whatever the hell you want. It does not matter. We're running Endure, obviously. We're running Muddy Water to hit both opposing Pokemon and get potential accuracy drops. We're running Taunt to shut things down, and of course Helping Hand to boost the power of other Pokemon's attacks. It's really important to know that we are a hasty nature on this set, which is a minus defense nature, and the reason for that is because we need to find a way to make sure that Drifblin's explosion will always KO us from full, proccing the Endure, or at least getting us into range to the point where one hit from Toxic will actually kill us as well. So to do that, if you have 0 IVs in defense, you need to have 140 attack EVs on the Drifblim. If you're running 31 IVs in defense, you need to run 212 EVs and an adamant nature on the Drifblim. So keep that in mind when you're building, and that'll make it so that you're able to run the most effective set possible. Don't forget that adjusting your IVs can be just as important as affecting and adjusting your EVs. Now for some single sets, starting off with a Storm Drain set with the heavy duty boots here. This is gonna be running the Timid Nature, Surf, Draco Meteor, Nasty Plot, and Rapid Spin. You get a boost from the Rapid Spin. You're able to boost up with the Nasty Plot. Your Terra type is water, so you're able to better your defensive typing in certain places, and in general, you're able to do a lot of good work with the powerful stab options you have on this Pokemon. And then lastly, we have a Assault Vest set, also with the Storm Drain, still Timid Nature here, Surf, Draco, Terra Blast this time, but Terra Blast Fairy, and then Rapid Spin. Really solid over here on the set. I would love to pair this Pokemon here with the Assault Vest with a Pokemon like Pelipper. I think it would work really well. Now, the last thing we talk about in these guides are going to be our predictions for the upcoming meta for this Pokemon. Where do I believe it'll fall when the dust all settles in the different metagames? We talk about Smogon, VGC, and Draft League. So starting off with Smogon, I believe this Pokemon is going to end up in the RU tier. Why? Well, the fact that it's 120 special attack, a move that boosted speed, and a decent typing overall tells me it's impossible for it to actually land in NU and stay there. So because of that, I'm going to say RU. Obviously, Nasty Plot is really good. The coverage is really bad though, and it has a great ability, but it misses out on a lot when it's on doubles. And for that reason, it actually won't jump up to the UU or OU tier in my opinion. I'd be very surprised if it ever got to that point, but hey, there's certain gimmicks that Pokemon can get to, and maybe Tatsugiri can show that in singles as well as it can in doubles. As for doubles for VGC, I believe this Pokemon is a big time gimmick Pokemon, and just like Dondozo, it's only going to see play for as long as Dondozo see play. And honestly, even then, I think Dondozo is going to see a lot more play even without Tatsugiri than it will with it at a certain point in time. I mentioned in the Dondozo guide that I had done yesterday actually, I feel like the popularity of these Pokemon are going to be really weird. As these Pokemon get more and more popular, they're going to be doing worse and worse because people are going to prepare against them. They're going to have individual Pokemon set up to stop these strategies. But when the popularity goes down, these Pokemon are going to get better because people are not going to be as prepared for them as they would be if they were super popular. It's like make sure, because you know in VGC in Generation 8, you know that Incineroar was going to be on basically every single team. So you knew you had to prepare for Incineroar. Now, you don't know if you have to prepare for the Dondozo Tatsugiri combo, but if you do know you have to prepare for it, then you're going to be prepared for it and make sure that you can handle it because it's easier to deal with that than it would be an Incineroar. Then finally for Draft League, this is my specialty. This is the thing that I do mostly in terms of competitive Pokemon. On a 17 to 18 point scale, this Pokemon is going to be around the 5 or 6 point mark. Now, obviously, it's a great Dragon type Pokemon. Cool. Low tier dragons, they work well. But more importantly, it is low tier hazard removal that is not defog. Rapid Spinning at low tier is very valuable, especially on the speed and special attack this Pokemon has. So it's not super passive, which is really nice. The issue is it doesn't really offer anything outside of getting rid of hazards and the occasional big Draco Meteor or Nasty Plot setup that you can do with it. That's really it. And for that reason, I just don't see a world where it's going to be higher than 5 or 6 points. It just doesn't make any sense considering that there are a lot of better options available. And that's all I've got for you guys today on Tatsugiri. If you guys enjoyed this video, then do me a favor and leave a like on the video to help us reach our like goal of 75 likes. Make sure to comment your thoughts on Tatsugiri down in the comments below for your chance to be named the winner of the comment of the day. And let me know which Pokemon you want to see me cover next. And while you're down there, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well to help us reach our end of year goal of 4,000 subscribers. I know we can do it. We're getting very, very close. Thank you for watching the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I also want to give a big thank you to our YouTube channel members. Their support is extremely appreciated. So shout out to our level 1s, which are going to be Liv, Eric, Zeke, and Texas Man. Our level 2 is Tone, and our level 3 is Sully. Thank you all for the support, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all tomorrow.